Hey guys, I am here to help you today. This video to fall asleep. So before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, where are you from? And what time are you watching? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. Now get comfortable and relax. The air is thin, sharp, and cold, slicing gently at your lungs as you take your first step onto the winding path. You're high in the Himalayas, where the mountains loom like silent, brooding giants, their peaks shrouded in a mist that seems to pulse with secrets. Your boots crunch on loose gravel, the sound swallowed by the fog that curls around you, thick and grey, as if the sky itself has spilled onto the earth. You're alone, or so it seems, but there's a weight in the air, a presence that prickles the back of your neck, not threatening, but watchful. You've come to a village, its name, lost to time, nestled in a valley so remote that maps seem to forget it exists. The path dips downward, and you follow it, your breath puffing in small clouds, each one dissolving into the mist like a whispered promise. The ground levels, and you find yourself at the edge of the village, its wooden houses leaning against one another as if sharing some ancient burden. Their roofs, slanted and weathered, are dusted with frost, and the narrow windows flicker with the dim glow of oil lamps. The mist clings to everything, softening the edges of the world, making the houses look like shadows of themselves. You pause, your fingers brushing the rough wool of your coat, and you notice the silence. It's not the quiet of peace, but the hush of something waiting, as if the village itself is holding its breath. Somewhere in the distance, a faint hum drifts through the fog, a low, mournful sound, like a chant or a sigh. It's gone before you can place it, but it leaves a shiver trailing down your spine, not from fear, but from the sense that you've stepped into a place where time has unraveled. You take a step forward, your boots sinking slightly into the damp earth, and the village seems to shift around you. The mist swirls, parting just enough to reveal a crooked signpost. It's wood splintered and grey, carved with symbols you can't read. They twist and curve, like the tracks of some ancient creature, and you feel a pull, as if they're beckoning you deeper. You follow the path, the gravel giving way to packed dirt, and the houses grow closer together, their eaves dripping with icicles that catch the faint moonlight. The air smells of pine and something older, stone, perhaps, or the faint musk of forgotten offerings. You glance at a window as you pass, and for a moment, you think you see a face, pale, indistinct, gone before you can be sure. Your heart gives a slow, heavy thud, but you keep walking, drawn forward by that same unnameable pull. The path narrows, winding between houses that seem to lean in, their wooden beams creaking softly as if whispering to one another. You notice small details, a bundle of dried herbs tied to a door frame, a cracked clay pot half buried in the earth, a faint smear of red ochre on a wall, as if someone marked it in haste. A hum returns, louder now, threading through the mist like a needle through cloth. It's not a voice, not yet, but it carries a rhythm, a cadence that feels older than the mountains themselves. You stop, your breath catching, and you realize you're standing before a low stone wall, its surface worn smooth by centuries of wind and hands. Beyond it lies a courtyard, empty save for a single tree, its branches bare and twisted, reaching into the fog like skeletal fingers. You step over the wall, your foot landing softly on moss that cushions the ground. The tree looms closer now, its bark etched with faint carvings, circles, spirals, lines that seem to shift when you try to focus on them. You reach out, your fingers hovering over the bark, and the air grows colder, the mist thicker, as if the village is exhaling around you. The hum is unmistakable now, coming from somewhere beyond the courtyard, deeper into the village. It's not a song, not a chant, but something in between, and it feels like it's calling you, not with words, but with a feeling, a longing, a warning, a promise. You turn toward the sound, your cloak brushing against the moss, and the path leads you onward, the houses closing in like silent sentinels. The mist seems to guide you now, parting just enough to reveal the way forward. then swallowing the path. Behind you, you pass a small shrine. Its wooden frame sagging under the weight of time, adorned with faded prayer flags that flutter weakly in the breeze. The flags are tattered, their colors bled to gray, but you can still make out faint patterns, eyes, perhaps, or hands, woven into the fabric long ago. You pause, your fingers brushing the edge of one flag, and the hum grows sharper, almost urgent, as if something in the village knows you're here. You glance around, half expecting to see someone watching, but there's only the mist, the houses, and that relentless, ghostly sound weaving through the air. You move on, the path curving sharply to the left, and you find yourself in a small square, the heart of the village. A well sits at its center, its stone room slick with frost, and you notice a faint glow emanating from its depths, not light, exactly, but something softer, like the memory of light. You lean over, peering into the darkness, and the air grows heavy, pressing against your chest. The hum is louder here, resonating from the well, and you feel a tug, as if the village itself is urging you to listen, to understand. You step back, your boots scraping against the stone, and you notice something else. Footprints, faint and uneven, leading away from the well toward a narrow alley. Air fresh to fresh, and you wonder if they're yours or if someone, or something, has walked this path just before you. You follow the footprints, your steps slow and deliberate, the mist curling around your ankles like a living thing. The alley is tight, the houses pressing so close that their eaves nearly touch above your head, forming a tunnel of wood and shadow. The hum is constant now, a low vibration that seems to seep into your bones, and you feel that presence again, closer, as if it's walking beside you. You glance to your side, but there's nothing, just the mist, the walls, and the faint creak of the houses settling into the night. The footprints lead you to a wooden door, its surface carved with the same strange symbols you saw on the signpost. You reach out, your hand trembling slightly, and the door creaks open before you touch it, revealing a darkness that feels alive, waiting. You step inside, and the air changes, growing warmer, heavier, scented with dust and something faintly sweet, like old incense. The room is small, its walls lined with shelves that sag under the weight of clay jars and bundled herbs. A single lamp flickers in the corner, casting shadows that dance like ghosts across the floor. The hum is here, too, softer now, almost soothing, and you realize it's coming from a small statue on a low table, a figure carved from stone. Its features worn, but unmistakable. A woman, her eyes closed, her hands raised as if in prayer or warning. You approach, your footsteps muffled by a threadbare rug, and you feel that pull again, stronger now, as if the statue is the heart of the village, the source of its secrets. You kneel before the statue, your knees sinking into the rug, and the hum becomes a whisper, words you can't quite catch, like a conversation just out of reach. You close your eyes, letting the sound wash over you, and you see flashes, images of snow-covered peaks, of hands carving symbols into stone, of a woman standing alone in a storm, her voice rising above the wind. The village knows you're here, and it's speaking to you, not with words, but with memories, with fragments of a story older than the mountains. You open your eyes, and the statue seems to glow, just for a moment, before the lamp flickers out, plunging the room into darkness. The darkness wraps around you, soft and heavy, like a blanket woven from the night itself. You blink, waiting for your eyes to adjust, but the room remains a void, the statue's faint glow gone, as if it never was. The whisper lingers, though, threading through the air, and you realize it's not coming from the statue anymore. It's all around you, seeping from the walls, the floor, the very air you breathe. You stand, your movement slow, deliberate, as if the village is watching, measuring your every step. Your hand brushes against the table, and you feel something new, a faint vibration, like the pulse of a distant drum, thrumming through the wood. The whisper grows clearer, not words yet, but a tone, mournful and ancient, pulling you deeper into the house. You move forward, your boots scuffing against the rug, and your outstretched hands find a wall. its surface rough and cool under your fingers. Trace it, feeling for a door or passage, and the wood gives way to stone, then to something smoother, like polished bone. The whisper shifts, becoming a low chant, and you follow it, your steps guided by instinct rather than sight. The air grows colder, the scent of incense fading, replaced by the sharp tang of damp earth and old stone. You're no longer in the room. You realize you've passed through a threshold, into a corridor that feels impossibly long, its walls pressing close, as if the house itself is narrowing to keep you here. Your fingers trail along the wall, and you feel carving small symbols, their edges worn but deliberate, like a language etched by hands long gone. The chant grows louder, and you can almost make out words now, fragments that slip away when you try to hold them. You keep walking, the corridor sloping downward, and the air grows heavier, thick with the weight of centuries. You imagine the village above you, its houses huddling in the mist, and you wonder if you're still beneath them or if you've crossed into something else, a place where the living and the dead blur together, where time folds in on itself. The corridor opens into a larger space, and your eyes catch a faint glimmer, like starlight trapped in glass. You step forward, and the ground beneath you shifts from stone to packed earth, soft and yielding, as if it's been walked on 4 generations. The glimmer comes from a cluster of crystals embedded in the wall, their surfaces catching some unseen light, casting faint patterns across the chamber. You pause, your breath slow and steady, and you notice the chant has stopped, replaced by a silence so deep it feels like a presence. You turn, scanning the darkness, and you see it, a figure, or the shadow of one, standing at the edge of the chamber. Its form indistinct but unmistakably human. You take a step toward it, and the air shifts, growing colder, sharper, as if the chamber is exhaling. The figure doesn't move, but you feel its gaze, heavy and unyielding, like a weight on your chest. You stop, your heart thudding slowly, and you realize the whisper has returned, softer now, coming from the figure itself. It's not speaking to you, not exactly, but it's sharing something, a memory, a warning, a story. You close your eyes, letting the whisper guide you, and you see flashes again. A woman in white robes, standing on a cliff, her hair whipping in the wind. A crowd gathered in a square, their faces pale with fear. A fire burning low, its smoke curling into shapes that shouldn't be possible. You open your eyes, and the figure is closer now, though you didn't hear it move. It's not threatening, not yet, but there's an urgency in its presence, as if it needs you to understand. You reach out, your hand trembling, and the air ripples, like water disturbed by a stone. The figure dissolves, and the figure vanishes, but its whisper lingers, a faint thread of sound weaving through the chamber's heavy air. You stand still, your hands still outstretched, the ripples in the air fading like a dream. White, cold, the crystals embedded in the walls pulse softly, their dim light casting fleeting shadows that seem to move with purpose, tracing patterns of spirals and eyes across the stone. Your breath is slow, deliberate, each exhale a small cloud in the chill that has settled into your bones. The chamber feels alive, its walls humming with that same low vibration you felt in the house above, as if the village itself is stirring, aware of your presence. You lower your hand, your fingers brushing the edge of your cloak, and you notice the ground beneath you is no longer just earth. It's inlaid with smooth, flat stones, their surfaces etched with symbols that match those you've seen before. Twisting lines, half moons, and something that might be a hand, reaching. You take a step, and the stones shift slightly under your weight, not enough to unbalance you, but enough to make you pause. The air grows thicker, scented with damp moss, and something sharper, like the memory of burning herbs. The whisper returns, clearer now, a single word repeated, asterisk follow asterisk. It's not a command, not exactly, but it carries a weight, a pull that tugs at your chest. You move forward, your boots scuffing against the stones, and the chamber narrows, the walls sloping inward until you're in a tunnel again. Its ceiling low enough that you duck instinctively. The crystals are fewer here, their light dimmer, but they guide you, winking like stars in a clouded sky. You feel that presence again, not behind you now, but ahead, drawing you deeper into the earth. The tunnel twists, and you catch a glimpse of something ahead, a faint glow. Not the cold shimmer of the crystals, but something warmer, like firelight trapped in amber. Press on, your fingers trailing along the walls, and the symbols grow more intricate, their lines deeper, as if carved in haste or desperation. The whisper shifts, becoming a chant, soft and rhythmic, like a lullaby sung by someone who has forgotten the words. You try to catch them, but they slip away, leaving only a feeling of sadness, heavy and old, like a stone smoothed by a river. The tunnel opens suddenly, and you find yourself at the threshold of a vast chamber, its walls soaring upward, lost in shadow. The glow comes from the center, where a cracked stone dais sits, surrounded by pillars that lean like trees after a storm. You step forward, your footsteps echoing faintly, and the chant grows louder, though it's still wordless, a melody that seems to come from the stones themselves. The dais is ancient, its surface worn smooth, but you can make out faint carvings, a figure with outstretched hands, a crescent moon, a scattering of stars. Above the dais, embedded in the ceiling, is a single massive crystal, its facets catching the glow and scattering it into 1,000 tiny sparks. You feel a pull, stronger now, urging you to climb the dais, to stand where others stood long ago. Your boots scrape against the stone as you ascend, each step deliberate, the air growing heavier with every inch. At the top, you pause, your hand resting on a pillar, and you notice something new, a faint outline in the dust, as if someone knelt here, their hands pressed to the stone. You kneel, mirroring the outline, and the chant swells, filling the chamber. Your fingers trace the carvings, and they feel warm, almost alive, as if the stone remembers the hands that shaped it. The air shivers, and you see her, a figure in white, her robes tattered, her face hidden by a veil of mist. She's not solid, not entirely, but her presence is undeniable, her eyes like twin stars burning through the fog. The chant is hers, you realize, and it's not just sound, it's a story, a warning, a plea. Close your eyes, letting it wash over you, and images flood your mind. A temple filled with light, priests chanting under a sky of endless stars, a woman standing on this very dais, her voice rising to the heavens. Then darkness, betrayal. Scream cut short. You open your eyes, and she's gone. But the chant remains, softer now, guiding you. You stand, your knees aching from the cold stone, and you notice a staircase spiraling down from the dais, half hidden by shadow. You descend. The steps uneven, worn by centuries of feet, and the air grows colder. The scent of herbs replaced by something older, earth, bone, and the faint tang of metal. The staircase ends at a heavy wooden door, its surface blackened as by fire, carved with symbols that seem to writhe in the flickering light. You push it open, and it groans, revealing a smaller chamber, its walls lined with alcoves. Each alcove holds a relic, a clay tablet, a bronze amulet, a bundle of feathers, tied with thread. The chant is here, too, softer, almost a whisper again, and you feel that presence, watching, waiting. You approach an alcove, drawn to a small stone figure, its features worn, but familiar, the same woman from the statue in the house above. You reach for it, and the air hums, the whisper sharpening into a single word, *C*. Your fingers brush the stone, and the chamber fades, replaced by a vision, a bustling village, not the silent one you walked through, but alive with voices, laughter, the clatter of carts. A woman in white stands at the temple's entrance, her hands raised, her voice clear and strong, speaking words that calm a crowd. Then shadows, figures in cloaks, a glint of steel, a fire that consumes the night. You pull your hand back, gasping, and the vision fades, leaving you in the chamber, the stone figure cold in your palm. You set it down, your hands trembling, and you notice the other relics, each one humming with its own faint energy. You move from alcove to alcove, your fingers hovering over a tablet, a dagger, a ring, each one whispering fragments of the same story. The temple was a heart, a place of visions and truths, but something broke it, something that lingers still. You step back, your cloak brushing against the dust, and you realize the chant has stopped, replaced by a silence that feels like a held breath. Presence is stronger now, not just watching, but urging, guiding you toward the far wall, where a faint outline suggests another door. Hidden in the stone, you press your hand against it, and the wall shifts, revealing a narrow passage. Its air stale and heavy. Step inside, the door closing behind you with a soft thud, and the darkness returns, broken only by the faint glow of crystals embedded in the walls. The whisper is back, guiding you forward, and you feel the village above you, its houses, its well, its secrets, all tied to this place, this temple forgotten by time. You walk, your steps slow, the air growing colder, and you know you're closer now, closer to her, to the oracle, to the truth buried in the stone. The passage stretches on, its walls narrowing until your shoulders brush against the stone, the crystal's faint glow your only guide. The air is heavy now, thick with the scent of earth and something sweeter, like honey left too long in the sun. Your footsteps echo, softer here, as if the passage is swallowing sound, and the whisper has faded, replaced by a low hum that seems to come from within you, resonating in your chest. You feel her presence, the oracle, not as a figure now, but as a thread woven into the air, pulling you deeper into the temple's heart. The symbols on the walls are denser, overlapping, as if carved in a frenzy, their lines telling a story you yet read. Your fingers graze them, and they're cold, slick with condensation, as if the stone itself is weeping. The passage opens into a small courtyard, open to the sky, though the stars are hidden by a ceiling of mist that swirls like a living thing. The ground is paved with cracked tiles, their patterns faded, but intricate spirals, stars and hands, always hands, reaching towards something unseen. The center stands a low fire pit, its embers long dead, but glowing faintly, as if remembering their warmth. You approach, your boots crunching on loose pebbles, and you notice a circle of stones around the pit, each one carved with a single word, to warn to read. You kneel, your cloak pooling around you, and the hum returns, stronger, carrying a melody that feels like a memory you never lived. You close your eyes, letting the hum guide you, and you see her again, not in a vision, but in your minds. Clear as if she's standing before you. The oracle, her robes white, but stained with ash, her hands trembling as she speaks to a crowd that doesn't listen. You see the village, not silent but alive. Its people gathered here, in this courtyard, their faces lit by firelight, their voices raised in song. The oracle speaks, her words sharp and clear, warning of a shadow that creeps closer, but the crowd turns away, their laughter drowning her out. You open your eyes, and the courtyard is empty, but the stones seem to hum louder, as if echoing the voices you saw. You stand, your knees stiff from the cold, and you notice a path leading from the courtyard, half hidden by overgrown vines that cling to the tiles. You follow it, pushing aside the vines, their leaves brittle and dry, crumbling under your touch. Path leads to a low archway, its stone blackened as if by fire, and you duck through, emerging into a larger space, a plaza, perhaps, or a gathering place, its edges lost in shadow. The mist is thinner here, and you can see the outlines. Benches, they wood warped and grey, and a raised platform where someone might have stood, speaking to a crowd long gone. The hum is constant now, a backdrop to the silence, and you realize it's not just sound, it's the village, the temple, the oracle, all speaking through the stones. You step onto the platform, and the air shifts, growing warmer, as if the memory of firelight lingers. You see flashes again, unbidden, the oracle standing here, her voice rising, her hands clutching a staff carved with symbols. The crowd is restless, their faces a mix of awe and fear, and you see cloaked figures at the edges, watching, waiting. The hum grows sharper, and you feel a hand, not physical, but a pressure, guiding you to the edge of the platform. where a small stone table stands, its surface covered in offerings, feathers, beads, a clay cup cracked down the middle. You touch the cup, and the hum becomes a voice, soft and urgent, telling a story of a kingdom that listened, then forgot. The voice speaks of the oracle, chosen by the mountains. Her vision's a gift and a curse. She saw the future, the voice says, saw the shadow that would swallow the kingdom. But her warnings were ignored, her temple abandoned. You pull your hand back, and the voice fades, but the story lingers, heavy in your chest. Look around, and the plaza seems to shift. The benches filling with shadows, not people, but echoes, their forms indistinct but their presence real. They're watching you, not with malice, but with expectation, as if you're part of their story now. You step down from the platform, your boots loud in the silence, and you notice a path leading away toward a gate carved with the same symbols you've seen everywhere. You follow it, the mist curling around your ankles, and the gate creaks open at your touch, revealing a narrow street lined with crumbling walls. The hum is softer here, but it's still there, guiding you, and you realize the village is alive in a way you didn't understand before. The houses, the stones, the air, they're all part of her, the oracle, her story woven into every crack and shadow. You walk, your cloak brushing against the walls, and you feel her presence, not just behind you, but within you, urging you to listen, to remember. The street ends at a small fire pit, its embers glowing faintly, and you realize you're back where you started, in the village, but the night feels different now, heavier, as if the oracle's story has settled into your bones. You sit by the fire pit, the warmth faint but comforting, and you let the hum wash over you, its melody slow and soothing. The mist swirls, and you see her one last time, not as a figure, but as a feeling, a sadness, a hope, a promise. You close your eyes, your breath slowing, and you know you'll carry her story with you, into the temple, into the night, into dreams that wait just beyond the firelight. The embers in the fire pit flicker, their faint warmth brushing against your face as you sit, the mist curling around you like a shawl woven from the night. The hum that filled the plaza has softened, but it's still there, a low vibration in the air, threading through the stones and into your bones. You lean back, your cloak settling against the cracked tiles, and you notice the mist has thickened, obscuring the gate you pass through. The village feels closer now, its houses looming just beyond the haze, their wooden beams creaking as if whispering secrets to one another. Your breath slows, each exhale a soft cloud that merges with the fog, and you feel her presence again, the oracle, not as a figure, but as a pull, a call that tugs at your chest, urging you to rise. You stand, your boots scuffing against the tiles, and the hum sharpens, becoming a chant, faint at first, like a distant wind carrying voices from another time. It's not words, not yet, but a melody, mournful and slow, that seems to rise from the earth itself. You turn, searching for its source, and your eyes catch a faint glow beyond the plaza, deeper into the village, where the mist parts just enough to reveal a path you hadn't noticed before. The chant grows clearer, its rhythm steady, like a heartbeat, and you feel it pulling you forward, past the fire pit, past the shadows of the houses, towards something unseen but undeniable. Your steps are deliberate, the ground soft beneath your feet, and the air smells of pine, frost, and something older in scents, perhaps, or the faint musk of forgotten offerings. The path leads you through a narrow alley, its walls so close you can touch both sides with outstretched arms. Chant is louder here, echoing off the stones, and you notice the symbols again, carved into the walls, their lines glowing faintly, as if lit from within. They twist and curve, forming shapes that feel like warnings, or invitations, or both. You pause, your fingers hovering over a carving of a hand, its fingers splayed as if reaching for you, and the chant shifts, becoming a single voice, clear and sharp, singing a note that pierces the silence. Close your eyes, letting it wash over you, and you see her, the oracle, standing in a temple, her robes white but frayed, her hands raised as she sinks to a sky heavy with storm clouds. The vision fades, but the chant remains, pulling you deeper into the alley. You move on, the path sloping downward, and the air grows colder, the mist thicker, clinging to your skin like damp silk. The chant is constant now, a thread that binds you to this place, to her. You emerge into a small courtyard, its edges blurred by fog, and at its center stands a stone archway. Its surface blackened as if by fire. The chant is coming from beyond. It's stronger, more urgent, and you feel that presence again, not just watching, but guiding, urging you to step through. You approach, your hand brushing the arch, and the stone is warm, almost pulsing, as if it remembers the hands that built it. You duck through, and the air changes, growing heavier, scented with earth and something sharper, like metal left to rust. The archway opens into a vast chamber, its walls soaring upward, lost in shadow. The chant fills the space, resonating off stones, and you see it nowadays at the center. Its surface cracked but carved with intricate patterns, stars, moons, hands reaching skyward. Above it, a massive crystal hangs from the ceiling, its facets catching the faint light of torches that line the walls, their flames flickering as if stirred by an unseen breath. You step forward, your footsteps echoing, and the chant grows louder, its melody weaving through the air like a river. You climb the dais, each step slow, deliberate, and you feel her presence, closer now, as if she's standing beside you. The air is thick, pressing against your chest, and you notice a small alcove. In the dais, its contents hidden in shadow. You kneel, your cloak pulling around you, and you peer into the alcove, finding a single object, a bronze disc, its surface etched with symbols that seem to shift when you look at them. You reach for it, and the chant swells, becoming a chorus. Voices, all hers, all the oracles, singing of loss, of warnings unheeded, of a kingdom that turned away. Your fingers brush the disc, and the chamber fades, replaced by a vision, the oracle, standing on this dais, her voice rising above a crowd, her eyes blazing with visions of fire and shadow. You see cloaked figures at the edges, their faces hidden, their hands clutching daggers. The vision shifts, and you see the temple burning, its flames licking the sky, the oracle's voice silenced but not gone. Pull your hand back, gasping, and the chamber returns, the disc cold in your palm. You stand, clutching the disc, and the chant softens, becoming a whisper again, guiding you toward a staircase. At the edge of the chamber, you descend, the steps uneven, worn by centuries, and the air grows colder, the scent of rust stronger. The staircase spirals down, deeper into the temple, and you feel the weight of the mountain above you, its silence pressing down. Chant is fainter now, but it's still there, a thread that keeps you moving, step after step, into the dark. You emerge into a smaller chamber, its walls lined with alcoves, each one holding a relic, tablets, amulets, fragments of bone. Chant is here, too, soft and mournful, and you know you're closer to her, to the oracle, to the heart of her story. The chamber is smaller than the last, its walls closer, as if the temple is drawing you into its core. The air is thick with dust, stirred by your presence, and it catches in your throat, tasting of earth and time. The relics in the alcoves seem to glow faintly, not with light, but with something else, memory, perhaps, or the weight of stories left untold. Your boots scuff against the stone floor, and you notice it's not smooth, but inlaid with tiles, their patterns faint but deliberate, spirals, eyes, hands reaching upward, always upward. The bronze disc in your hand is heavy, its symbols warm against your skin, as if it's still alive with the oracle's voice. The chant has faded to a whisper, but it's clearer now, forming words you can almost grasp, like a song half remembered from a dream. You move toward the nearest alcove, drawn by a small clay tablet, its surface cracked but covered in script. You can't read, your fingers hover over it, and the whisper sharpens, urging you to touch, to see. You do, and the chamber fades, replaced by a vision, a scribe, hunched over a table, carving words into clay under the flicker of an oil lamp. The oracle stands behind him, her voice low, dictating warnings of a shadow that will come with the next moon. The scribe's hands tremble, and you feel his fear, his doubt, as he writes. The vision shifts, and you see the tablet buried, hidden. As the temple burns above, you pull your hand back, and the chamber returns, the tablet cold and still, its story locked within. You move to another alcove, this one holding a bundle of feathers, tied with a thread, so fragile it might crumble. To touch, the whisper is stronger here, and you feel her presence, the oracle, not as a figure, but as a warmth, a sorrow that wraps around you. You touch the feathers, and another vision comes, a festival, the courtyard above filled with dancers, their movements slow and deliberate, their faces painted with ochre. The oracle watches from a platform, her hands clutching a staff, her eyes seeing something beyond the firelight. You see the crowd falter, their laughter turning to whispers, as she speaks of a betrayal that will shatter the kingdom. The vision fades, and you're back in the chamber. The feathers soft in your hand, their tips stained with ash. You set the feathers down, your heart heavy, and you notice a small bronze amulet in the next alcove, its surface etched with a single eye. Reach for it, and the whisper becomes a voice, clear and urgent, telling of a king who refused to listen, a court that turned away. You see him in your mind's eye, his crown heavy, his hands stained with ink as he signs decrees that seal the oracle's fate. The amulet is warm, almost burning, and you see the temple's last night, the oracle standing alone, her voice rising above the flames, her warnings unheeded. You let go, and the chamber is silent, the relics watching you, their stories pressing against your skin. You step back, your cloak brushing against the tiles, and you notice a door at the far end of the chamber. It's wood warped, but carved with the same symbols you've seen everywhere. Whisper returns, guiding you toward it, and you feel the oracle's presence, stronger now, as if she's standing just behind you. You push the door open, and it groans, revealing a narrow passage. Its walls slick with moisture, its air cold and sharp. You step inside, the door closing behind you, and the whisper becomes a chant again, soft and steady, like a lullaby sung to a sleeping child. Passage slopes downward, deeper into the temple, and you feel the weight of the mountain, the village, the oracle's story, all pressing down, urging you to keep going. The passage twists, and you see a faint light ahead, not the cold glow of crystals, but something warmer, like candlelight. You follow it, your steps slow, the chant weaving through the air, and you emerge into a small room, its walls bare except for a single alcove. Inside it sits a stone figure, smaller than the one you saw in the village, but unmistakably her. The oracle, her hands raised, her eyes closed, her face serene but sad. You approach, your breath catching, and the chant swells, filling the room with a melody that feels like a goodbye. You kneel, your hands resting on the stone, and you feel her story, not as a vision, but as a truth, settling into your bones. A woman who saw too much, who spoke too clearly, who was forgotten, but never gone. You close your eyes, letting the chant carry you, and you know you're part of her story now, bound to this temple, this village, this night. The relics, the symbols, the whispers, they're all hers, all pieces of a truth you're only beginning to understand. Stand, the stone figure called under your fingers, and you notice a small crack in the wall behind it, revealing another passage, darker, colder, waiting. The crack in the wall behind the oracle's stone figure seems to breathe, exhaling a chill that brushes against your face as you stand, your fingers still tingling from the statue's cool surface. Chant has faded to a whisper, barely audible, like a distant stream trickling through the dark. You step toward the crack, your boots scuffing against the stone floor, and the air grows colder, heavier, scented with damp earth and the faint tang of something metallic, like old blood or rusted iron. The passage beyond is narrow, its walls rough and uneven, as if carved in haste by hands that knew their time was short. You duck through, your cloak catching on a jagged edge, and the darkness swallows you, broken only by the faint glow of crystals embedded in the walls, their light dim but steady, like stars seen through a storm. Your footsteps echo softly, each one muffled by the weight of the silence, and you feel her presence, the oracle, not as a voice now, but as a gaze, watching from the shadows. Walls are closer here, brushing against your shoulders, and you notice the symbols again, etched deeper, their lines frantic, as if the carvers were racing against some unseen deadline. Your fingers trail along them, and they're slick with moisture, cold as ice, but they seem to hum under your touch, vibrating with a story you're only beginning to understand. The air is thick, pressing against your chest, and you breathe slowly, each inhale sharp, each exhale a small cloud that merges with the darkness. The passage twists, sloping downward, and the crystals grow fewer, their light fainter, forcing you to rely on touch to guide your way. Your hand finds a carving, a hand, its finger splayed, like the ones you've seen before, but this one feels different, warmer, as if it holds a memory of the hands that shaped it. You pause, your heart thudding slowly, and the whisper returns, not from the air but from within you, a single word, asterisk. Look, asterisk. You close your eyes, not sure why, and you see her, the oracle, her robes tattered, standing in this very passage, her hands pressed to the walls, her voice a low chant that echoes through the stone. The vision fades, but the whisper lingers, urging you forward, deeper into the temple's heart. You move on, the passage narrowing until you have to turn sideways, your cloak scraping against the stone. The air grows colder still, and you smell something new, charcoal, perhaps, or the faint musk of burned offerings. The whisper is constant now, a thread that binds you to this place, to her, and you feel her gaze, not just watching, but guiding, as if she's walking beside you. The passage opens suddenly, and you step into a wider corridor, its ceiling arched and cracked, as if the mountain itself is pressing down. The crystals are brighter here, casting jagged patterns across the floor, and you notice something else, footprints, faint and uneven, in the dust. They're not yours, you realize, and your heart gives a slow, heavy thud, but you keep moving, drawn by the whisper, by her. The corridor stretches on, its walls lined with alcoves, each one empty, their contents long gone or never there. You pause at one, your fingers brushing the edge, and you feel a faint vibration, like the echo of a scream trapped in the stone. The whisper sharpens, becoming a chant again, soft and mournful, and you see flashes, images of priests hurrying through this corridor, their robes sweeping the floor, their faces pale with fear. You see the oracle, her hands clutching a staff, her eyes fixed on something beyond the walls, something coming closer. The vision fades, and you're alone again, the chant fading to a whisper, the alcoves watching like silent witnesses. You keep walking, the corridor curving to the right, and you notice a faint glow ahead, not the cold light of crystals, but something warmer, like candlelight trapped in amber. The whisper urges you on, and you feel her presence, stronger now, as if she's just ahead, waiting. The corridor ends at a heavy stone door, its surface carved with symbols that seem to pulse in the moonlight. Hands, eyes, stars, all intertwined, as if telling a story in a language you can't read. You press your hand against it, and the stone is warm, almost alive, and the door shifts, grinding open to reveal a chamber bathed in soft, golden light. You step inside, and the air changes, growing warmer, scented with incense and something sweeter, like honey left to rot. The chamber is small, its walls smooth and polished, reflecting the light of a single torch that burns in the center, its flame steady despite the lack of air. You feel her here, the oracle, not as a figure, but as a weight, a sorrow that fills the space. The whisper is louder, clearer, forming words now. Asterisk, see me, asterisk. You approach the torch, its light casting your shadow across the walls, and you notice a small altar, its surface covered in offerings, feathers, beads, a clay cup cracked down the middle. You kneel, your hands resting on the altar, and the whisper becomes a voice, her voice, telling you to look, to understand, to remember. You close your eyes, and the chamber fades, replaced by the oracle's story, waiting to unfold. The altar's stone is cool under your hands, its surface worn smooth by centuries of touch, but it hums faintly, as if the offering's feathers, beads, the cracked clay cup hold the oracle's voice within them. Golden light from the torch flickers, casting shadows that dance across the polished walls, and you feel her presence, the oracle, not just watching, but waiting, her story pressing against you like a tide. The whisper has become a voice, clear and mournful, and it speaks to you, not in words you understand, but in images, feelings, fragments of a life that ended long ago. You keep your eyes closed, letting the voice guide you, and you see her, a woman in white, her robes stained with ash, standing in a temple filled with light, her hands raised as she speaks to a crowd that listens, then turns away. The vision shifts, and you're no longer in the chamber, but in her world, standing on a dais like the one you climbed before, the air thick with incense and the murmur of voices. The oracle's eyes are bright, almost feverish, as she speaks of a shadow that will come with the next moon, a darkness that will swallow the kingdom. You see the crowd, their faces a mix of awe and doubt, and you notice figures at the edges, cloaked and silent, their hands hidden in their sleeves. The oracle's voice rises, sharp and clear, but the crowd begins to drift away, their murmurs turning to laughter, their faith fading like smoke. You feel her despair, her certainty, as she stands alone, her staff trembling in her hands. The vision shifts again, and you see the temple at night, its halls empty, its torches burning low. The oracle moves through the corridors, her steps quick, her robes trailing behind her. She pauses at an altar, not unlike the one you're touching now, and places something on it, a bronze disc, like the one you found, its symbols glowing. Faintly, she whispers words you can't hear, but you feel their weight, their urgency, as if she's trying to bind her warnings to the stone. The air grows heavy, and you see shadows moving, not in the vision, but around you, in the chamber. Air forms indistinct but close, too close. You open your eyes, gasping, and the chamber returns, the torches light steady, the altar unchanged. You stand, your knees aching from the stone, and you notice the shadows are still there, not on the walls, but in the air, hovering at the edges of your vision. They're not threatening, not exactly, but they're watching, their presence a reminder of the oracle's story, of the kingdom that ignored her. The voice returns, softer now, urging you to move, to see more. Step away from the altar's faint hum lingers in your palms, as you step back, the torchlight casting long shadows that flicker like memories across the chamber's polished walls. The air is thick, scented with incense and the faint rot of honey, and the oracle's voice, though silent now, feels woven into the stone, the dust, the very breath you take. You turn, your cloak brushing against the floor, and notice a narrow doorway half hidden behind a curtain of cobwebs, its frame etched with symbols that seem to pulse faintly, hands, eyes, stars, all reaching for something lost. You push through the cobwebs, their threads clinging to your skin like a whisper, and step into a corridor, its walls rough and cold, the air heavy with the weight of centuries. The shadows follow you, not as figures, but as a presence, a gaze that presses against your back, urging you deeper into the temple's heart. The corridor is wider than the last, its floor uneven, littered with broken tiles that crunch softly. Under your boots, the torchlight from the chamber fades, replaced by the dim glow of crystals embedded in the walls, their light cold and faint, like moonlight trapped in ice. You feel her, the oracle, not as a voice now, but as a sorrow, a thread of grief that binds this place together. The symbols on the walls are denser here, their lines sharp and jagged, as if carved in anger or fear. Your fingers graze them, and they're warm, almost alive, humming with a story that's starting to take shape in your mind. You pause, your breath slow and deliberate, and you see flashes images of a king, his crown heavy, his hands stained with ink, his eyes avoiding the oracle's gaze. You close your eyes, letting the images come, and you're no longer in the corridor, but in a grand hall. Its walls draped with tapestries, its air thick with the scent of wax and myrrh. The oracle stands before the king, her robes tattered, her voice steady but sharp, warning of a shadow that will consume the kingdom he does not act. The king shifts in his throne, his courtiers whispering, their faces hidden behind masks of silk and gold. You see one among them, a figure in a dark cloak, his hands clutching a scroll, his eyes glinting with something colder than ambition. The oracle's voice rises, pleading now, but the king waves her away, his laughter echoing as the court turns its back. The vision shifts, and you see the cloaked figure moving through the temple at night, his hands carrying a vial that glints like poison, his steps silent but deliberate. The vision fades, and you're back in the corridor, your heart thudding slowly, the warmth of the symbols fading under your fingers. Betrayal is clear now, a thread in the oracle's story, a king who refused to listen, a courtier who acted in shadow, a temple left to burn. You move forward, the corridor sloping upward, the air growing colder, sharper, as if the mountain itself is exhaling. The crystals are fewer now, their light dimmer, and you rely on touch to guide you, your hands trailing along the walls. The symbols tell the story again, in fragments, hands reaching, eyes watching, stars falling. You feel her presence, the oracle, not just behind you, but within you, her sorrow a weight in your chest, her warnings a whisper in your mind. The corridor opens into a larger chamber, its ceiling cracked, letting in slivers of moonlight that cut through the darkness like blades. The air is colder here, scented with frost and stone, and you notice a stone table at the center, its surface scarred and blackened, as if it once held a fire. You approach, your boots scuffing against the floor, and you see it a dagger, its blade rusted but sharp, its hilt carved with the same symbols you've seen everywhere. You reach for it, and the air shifts, growing heavy, and you hear her voice, not in your mind, but in the chamber, clear and mournful. Asterisk, he chose asterisk. You close your eyes, and the vision returns, the cloaked figure, the vial poured into a cup, the oracle drinking, her eyes wide with realization as the poison takes hold. King watches, his face unreadable, as the temple begins to burn. You pull your hand back, the dagger cold in your palm, and the chamber is silent again, the moonlight dimming as clouds pass overhead. You feel her, the oracle, not as a vision, but as a truth, her betrayal a wound that lingers in the stone, the air, the shadows. You set the dagger down, your hands trembling, and notice a staircase at the edge of the chamber, its steps worn and uneven, leading upward. Climb, each step slow, the air growing thinner, colder, and you feel the mountain's weight lifting, as if you're emerging from its heart. The staircase ends at a heavy wooden door, its surface scarred with burns, and you push it open, stepping into the night. The door groans shut behind you, and the night air bites at your skin, sharp and cold, carrying the scent of snow and pine. You're outside now, standing on a narrow path that winds along the mountain's flank, the village below shrouded in mist, its houses mere shadows in the moonlight. The path is dusted with snow, crunching under your boots, and you feel her presence still, the oracle, not as a voice, but as an echo, her sorrow woven into the wind that tugs at your cloak. The symbols from the temple linger in your mind, hands, eyes, stars, and you see them faintly in the snow, as if the mountain itself is telling her story. Your breath puffs in small clouds, and you notice footprints, not yours, leading along the path, their edges soft, as if made by someone who walked here moments ago. You follow them, your steps deliberate, the snow falling lightly now, dusting your shoulders and hair. The path is steep, winding between jagged rocks and twisted pines, their branches heavy with frost, swaying gently as if whispering to one another. The air is thin, making each breath a quiet effort, and you feel the oracle's warnings, not as words, but as a chill that settles in your bones. Footprints lead you higher, the village fading into the mist below, and you notice a faint hum, like the chant from the temple, but softer, carried on the wind. You pause, your hand resting on a rock, and you see her in your mind's eye, the oracle, standing on this path, her robes whipping in the wind, her voice rising above the storm, warning of a shadow that no one heeded. You move on, the path narrowing, the rocks closer, their surfaces etched with faint carving, small symbols, faded but familiar, as if the mountain itself is an extension of the temple. The hum grows louder, and you realize it's not just in the air but in the ground, vibrating through your boots, through your bones. You feel her gaze, the oracle's, watching from somewhere ahead, and you notice a small shrine, half buried in snow, its wooden frame cracked but standing. You approach, brushing away the snow, and find a stone tablet, its surface carved with a single eye, watching you. You touch it, and the hum becomes a voice, her voice, soft and urgent. Asterisk they turned. Away asterisk. Close your eyes, and you see her again, standing here, her hands clutching a staff, her warnings swallowed by the wind as the kingdom below begins to crumble. The vision fades, and you're back on the path, the tablet cold under your fingers. The snow falling thicker now, cloaking the world in white. You feel her sorrow, her betrayal, as if it's your own. And you know you're part of her story now, bound to this mountain, this night. The footprints continue, leading to a ledge that overlooks the valley, and you follow, your cloak heavy with snow, your breath steady but slow. The ledge is wide, its edge sharp, dropping into a void of mist and shadow, and you see it's a stone marker, its surface worn, but carved with the same symbols, hands reaching, eyes watching, stars falling. You kneel, your hands brushing the snow away, and the voice returns, clearer now, telling of a kingdom that listened, then forgot, of a shadow that came when the oracle's warnings went unheard. You stand, the wind tugging at you, and you notice a path leading down, back toward the village, its lights faint through the snow. You follow it, each step sinking into the snow, the hum fading but never gone, a reminder of her, of the oracle, of the truth she carried. The path curves, and you see the village again, its houses closer now, their roofs heavy with snow, their windows dark, but watching. Feel her presence, not just behind you, but all around, in the snow, the stones, the wind, and you know you're closer to her, to the heart of her story, as the path leads you back into the village, back to the temple, back to the night that holds her secrets. The snow crunches softly under your boots as you descend the mountain path, the village emerging from the mist below, its houses huddled together like mourners in the moonlight. The wind carries a faint hum, the oracle's echo, weaving through the air, tugging at your cloak as if urging you onward. The symbols from the stone marker linger in your mind, hands reaching, eyes watching, stars falling, and you feel her presence, not as a voice now, but as a weight, a sorrow that clings to the frost on your skin. The path levels, leading you back into the village, its narrow streets silent but alive, the wooden beams creaking as if whispering secrets to the night. Your breath puffs in small clouds, and you notice the footprints again, not yours, leading toward a low stone wall, its surface slick with ice, half hidden by snow. You follow them, your steps slow, deliberate, the hum growing stronger, resonating in your chest like a heartbeat. The wall surrounds a small courtyard, its center dominated by a stone structure, squat and ancient, its surface blackened as if by fire. The footprints end here, fading into the snow, and you feel her gaze, the oracle's, watching from somewhere. Within, the structure is a tomb. You realize, its entrance sealed by a heavy slab, carved with symbols that match those you've seen before, hands, eyes, stars, but here they're deeper, more frantic, as if carved in defiance. You approach, your hand brushing the slab, and it's warm, almost pulsing, as if the stone holds a life of its own. The hum becomes a whisper, her whisper, soft and urgent. Asterisk he waits asterisk dot. You press your hands against the slab, and it shifts, grinding, open with a low groan that echoes through the courtyard. The air that spills out is cold, heavy with the scent of earth and decay, and you step inside, the darkness swallowing you. Your boots scuff against stone steps, descending into the tomb, and the whisper grows clearer, forming words you can't grasp. The walls are close, their surface is rough, etched with more symbols, their lines glowing faintly in the dark. You feel him before you see him, the king. His presence awaits, not sorrowful like the oracles, but angry, restless, trapped. The steps end, and you find yourself in a chamber. Its ceiling low, its walls lined with alcoves, holding offerings, rusted swords, cracked goblets, a crown tarnished by time. At the center lies a stone sarcophagus, its lid carved with the king's likeness, his face stern, his eyes hollow. You approach, your heart thudding slowly, and the whisper becomes a voice, her voice, telling you to look, to see. You touch the sarcophagus, and the chamber fades, replaced by a vision, the king, seated on his throne, his hands gripping a scepter, his eyes avoiding the oracle as she warns of a shadow that will consume all. You see the cloaked figure again, courtier, pouring poison into a cup, offering it to the oracle with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. King watches, his face unreadable, as she drinks, her body crumpling, the temple catching fire around her. The vision shifts, and you see the king alone, in this tomb, his breath ragged, his hands stained with guilt, his crown heavy as he whispers her name. You pull your hand back, gasping, and the chamber returns, the sarcophagus cold under your fingers. King's presence is stronger now, a shadow that lingers in the air, not watching you, but waiting, as if bound to this place by his own betrayal. The whisper returns, softer, urging you to move, to understand. You notice a small alcove behind the sarcophagus, its contents hidden in shadow. You reach inside, your fingers brushing something smooth, a scroll, its parchment brittle, its surface inked with symbols and words you can't read. The whisper sharpens, and you feel her, the oracle, not just in the air but in the scroll, her story bound to its pages. You unroll it carefully, and the vision returns, the oracle, writing in haste, her hands trembling as she records her final warning, her final truth. Before the flames take her, you set the scroll down, your hands trembling, and the king's presence shifts, growing heavier, as if he knows you've seen his shame. The whisper urges you forward, toward a narrow passage at the edge of the chamber, its walls slick with moisture, its air cold and sharp. You step inside, the darkness closing around you, and the whisper becomes a chant, soft and mournful, guiding deeper into the tomb, deeper into her story. The passage slopes upward, the air growing thinner, and you feel the mountain above you, its weight pressing down, its silence a reminder of the kingdom that fell. The chant is constant now, a thread that binds you to her, to the oracle, to the truth she left behind. The passage climbs steeply, its walls narrowing until your shoulders brush against the stone, the chant weaving through the air like a lullaby, sung by the mountain itself. The scroll's weight lingers in your hands, though you left it behind, its symbols burned into your mind, hands reaching, eyes watching, stars falling. The air is colder now, scented with frost and the faint musk of old incense, and you feel her, the oracle, not as a voice, but as a plea, her presence a warmth that counters the chill. The passage opens into a small chamber, its walls bare except for a single carving, a figure in white, her hands raised, her face hidden by shadow. You approach, your boots scuffing against the stone, and the chant grows louder, clearer, forming words, asterisk free me asterisk dot. You touch the carving, and the stone is warm, almost alive, humming with her voice. The chamber fades, and you're in her world again, standing in the temple's heart, its walls ablaze, the oracle kneeling before an altar, her hands clutching the bronze disc you found earlier. She's speaking, not to the crowd but to the air, to the future, to you. Her words are sharp, urgent, begging someone to undo what was done. to lift the curse that binds her to this place. You see the king, not in his throne room, but here, in the temple, his face pale, his hands trembling as he watches the flames. He reaches for her, but she turns away, her eyes blazing with visions of a kingdom's end, her voice a final plea. Before the fire takes her, the vision fades, and you're back in the chamber, your hands still on the carving, the chant softening to a whisper. Feel her sorrow, her desperation, as if it's your own. And you know what she's asking, not just to be remembered, but to be freed. The chamber is small, its air heavy, and you notice a stone table at its center, its surface covered in offerings, feathers, beads, a clay cup like the one you saw before. Its crack wider now, as if it's breaking under the weight of her plea. You approach, your heart thudding slowly, and you feel the king's presence, too, lingering like a shadow, his guilt a counterpoint to her sorrow. You touch the cup, and the whisper becomes a voice, her voice, clear and urgent, telling you of a curse, a betrayal that bound her to the temple, to the mountain, to the night. She speaks of the king, of the courtier, of the poison that silenced her, of the fire that consumed her warnings. She begs you to find the truth, to undo what was done, to let her rest. You pull your hand back, the cup cold in your palm, and notice a small alcove behind the table, its contents hidden in shadow. You reach inside, finding a stone amulet, its surface carved with a single eye, watching you. The voice returns, softer now, urging you to carry it, to keep going, to find the heart of her story. You slip the amulet into your cloak, its weight comforting, and you notice a door at the edge of the chamber. Its wood warped but strong, carved, with symbols that seem to pulse in the dim light. You push it open, and it creaks, revealing a courtyard open to the sky, the snow falling lightly, dusting the ground. The chant is fainter now, but it's still there, guiding you, and you feel her, the oracle, not just behind you but within you, her plea of fire that warms your bones. You step into the courtyard, the snow crunching under your boots, and you see a path leading upward, toward the mountain's peak, where the stars are just visible through the mist. You follow it, the amulet heavy in your cloak, the oracle's voice a whisper that carries you forward, into the night, into her story, into the truth that waits beyond the snow. The snow falls gently around you, dusting the courtyard's cracked tiles as you stand beneath the open sky. The amulet's weight a steady presence in your cloak. The oracle's plea lingers in your ears, her voice a soft echo *freemy weaving through the wind that tugs at your hood. The stars above are faint, half hidden by mist, but their light catches the snow, making it shimmer like scattered diamonds. You feel her, the oracle, not as a shadow now, but as a warmth, a quiet urgency that pulses in your chest, guiding your steps. The path ahead climbs steeply, winding between jagged rocks and twisted pines, their branches bowing under snow's weight, as if mourning the kingdom that fell. You follow it, your boots sinking into the fresh powder, each step a soft crunch that echoes in the silence of the night. The air is sharp, scented with frost and pine, and the hum from the temple below has faded, replaced by a new sound, a low chant, barely audible, rising from the ground itself. It's her voice, you know, the oracle's, not speaking but singing, a melody that feels like a ritual, a call to something ancient. You pause, your hand resting on a rock, its surface cold and slick, etched with faint symbols, hands, eyes, stars, always stars, as if the mountain is pointing you upward. The chant grows clearer, forming words you can't understand, but feel, their rhythm slow and deliberate, like a heartbeat calming a restless child. You close your eyes, and you see her, the oracle, standing under a moonlit sky, her hands raised, a bronze disc clutched to her chest as she sings to the stars, her voice a plea to undo the curse that binds her. You open your eyes, the vision fading, and the path seems clearer now, the snow parting to reveal stones laid in a spiral, there, edges worn but deliberate, leading to a small clearing. Follow them, the chant growing louder, resonating in your bones, and you reach the clearing. Its center marked by a low stone altar, its surface covered in offerings, feathers, beads, a cracked clay cup like the ones you've seen before. Moonlight bathes the altar, making the offerings glow faintly, as if they hold the oracle's light. You kneel, your cloak pooling around you, and the chant swells, her voice clear now, urging you to act, to perform the ritual she began long ago. You feel the amulet in your cloak, its eye carving warm against your fingers, and you know what you must do. You place the amulet on the altar, its weight settling into the stone, and the chant becomes a chorus, soft but powerful, as if the mountain itself is singing. You reach for the feathers, their tips soft and stained with ash, and you arrange them in a circle, mimicking the spiral of the stones. The air shifts, growing warmer, and you smell incense, faint but sweet, rising from nowhere. You touch the clay cup, its crack rough under your fingers, and you see her again, the oracle, kneeling here, her hands trembling as she places the same offerings, her voice rising in a ritual cut short by fire and betrayal. Close your eyes, letting her guide you, and you speak, not words you know, but words she gives you, a chant that feels like a promise, a plea, a prayer. The wind picks up, swirling the snow around you, and the chant grows louder, the stars above seeming to pulse in time. You place the beads next, their surfaces smooth and cold, each one a piece of her story, her sorrow, her hope. The altar hums, its stone vibrating under your hands, and you feel her presence, not just beside you, but within you, her voice blending with yours as you sing. The ritual is simple, but it feels heavy, as if each gesture is unraveling a thread of the curse that binds her. Raise your hands, mirroring her in the vision, and the moonlight grows brighter, the snow stilling, the air thick with the scent of incense and earth. The chant reaches a peak, then softens, and you feel a shift, a release, as if something in the mountain has exhaled. You lower your hands, the altar quiet now, the offerings glowing faintly under the moonlight. Chant has faded, but her presence remains, softer, less urgent, as if your ritual has soothed her, if only for a moment. You stand, your knees aching from the cold stone, and notice a path leading from the clearing, its stones half buried in snow, winding downward toward the village. You follow it, the amulet still warm in your cloak, the oracle's voice a whisper now, guiding you back into the night, back to her story, back to the truth that waits below. The path descends gently, the snow crunching under your boots as you leave the moonlit clearing behind, the altar's faint glow fading into the mist. The air is colder now, biting at your cheeks, but the oracle's presence lingers, a warmth in your chest, her whisper a soft thread weaving through the wind. The village below is barely visible, its houses shrouded in fog, their roofs heavy with snow, their windows dark, but watching. Symbols from the altar hands, eyes, stars echo in your mind, and you feel her story, not just as a memory, but as a weight, a truth you're carrying with you. The wind picks up, carrying faint voices, not hers alone, but others, fragments of a kingdom lost to time, their words scattered like the snow at your feet. You follow the path, its stones slick with ice, and the whisper grows clearer, forming a melody that feels like a lament. It's not just the oracle now, but the voices of those who lived here, who walked these paths, who ignored her warnings. You pause, your hand resting on a pine, its bark rough and dusted with frost, and you hear them soft, overlapping, telling of a festival that ended in silence, of a king who turned away, of a fire that consumed the temple. The wind carries their words, and you see flashes images of dancers in a courtyard, their faces painted with ochre, their laughter fading as the oracle's voice rises, warning of a shadow no one believed. You close your eyes, letting the voices wash over you, and you feel their sorrow, their regret, as if the mountain itself is mourning. You open your eyes, and the path curves sharply, leading you to a small shrine, its wooden frame sagging under the snow, its surface adorned with faded prayer flags, their colors bled to gray. You brush the snow away, revealing symbols carved into the wood, hands reaching, eyes watching, stars falling, and the voices grow louder, clearer, telling of a kingdom that thrived, then fell. You touch a flag, its fabric crumbling under your fingers, and the wind shifts, carrying a new voice, hers, the oracle's, soft but urgent, speaking of a betrayal that broke the mountain's heart. You see her in your mind's eye, standing here, her robes whipping in the wind, her hands clutching a staff as she speaks to a crowd that turns away, their faces pale with doubt. The vision fades, and you're back on the path, the shrine behind you, the voices lingering in the air. Feel her, the oracle, not just in the wind, but in the snow, the stones, the pines, as if the mountain is her body, her story its pulse. The path leads you closer to the village, its houses emerging from the mist, their eaves dripping with icicles that catch the moonlight. You notice footprints again, not yours, leading toward a low stone wall, its surface etched with symbols that seem to glow faintly, as if lit by the voices in the wind. You follow them, your cloak heavy with snow, and the voices grow softer, blending into a single whisper, hers telling you of a kingdom that listened, then forgot, of a shadow that came when her warnings went unheard. You reach the wall, its stones cold under your hands, and you see a gate, its wood warped but strong, carved with the same symbols you've seen everywhere. Push it open, and it creaks, revealing a narrow street lined with houses, their windows dark, but watching, their beams creaking as if echoing the voices. The whisper is constant now, a thread that binds you to this place, to her, and you feel her presence, not just behind you, but within you, urging you to listen, to understand. The street leads to a small square, its center marked by a well, its stone rim slick with frost, and you notice a faint glow emanating from its depths, like the light you saw in the village's heart. You lean over, peering into the darkness, and the voices swell, telling of a night when the kingdom fell, when the oracle's warnings became truth, when the mountain wept. You step back, your boots scraping against the stone, and you feel her, the oracle, not just in the well but in the air, the snow, the village itself. The voices are softer now, a chorus of regret, and you know you're closer to her truth, to the heart of her story, as the wind carries you forward, into the night, into the silence that holds her secrets. The faint glow from the well pulses softly, its light casting ripples across the snow-dusted square, as if the village itself is breathing. You step back, your boots scraping against the frost-slick stone, and the whisper in the wind lingers, the oracle's voice threading through the air, soft but insistent. The houses around you loom closer, their dark windows watching, their wooden beams creaking as if echoing her plea. The amulet in your cloak feels heavier now, its carved eye warm against your skin, a reminder of her story, her curse, her truth. The air is sharp, scented with snow and the faint musk of old incense, and you feel her presence, not just in the well, but in the stones, the mist, the night itself, urging you to listen, to see. You notice a narrow path leading from the square, stones half buried in snow, marked by footprints not yours, but hers, or someone's, leading deeper into the village. You follow the path, your steps slow, deliberate, the snow crunching softly underfoot. The whisper becomes a chant, her chant, rising from the ground, the air, the houses, its melody slow and mournful, like a lullaby for a kingdom long gone. The path winds between houses, their eaves dripping with icicles that catch the moonlight. You see symbols carved into their walls, hands, eyes, stars, always stars, as if pointing you toward her. The chant grows clearer, forming words now, not in a language you know but in a feeling, a certainty that you're part of her story, bound to this place, this night. You pause, your hand resting on a wall, its wood warm despite the cold, and you see her, the oracle, standing in this street, her robes tattered, her hands raised as she speaks to a sky heavy with clouds, her voice a prophecy no one heeded. You close your eyes, letting her voice guide you, and you're no longer in the village but in her world, standing in a temple bathed in moonlight, its walls alive with carvings that seem to move. The oracle is there, her eyes blazing with visions, her voice clear and sharp, speaking of you not as you are now, but as someone expected, someone needed. She prophesies a stranger who will walk the village's paths, who will touch the stones, who will hear her truth and carry it forward. You see the crowd, their faces pale, their eyes doubtful, and you see the king, his crown heavy, his hands stained with guilt, turning away as her words echo into silence. The vision shifts, and you see the temple burning, the oracle standing, alone, her prophecy unfinished, her voice rising above the flames. You open your eyes, gasping, and the village returns, the path stretching before you, the chant softer now, but her words linger. Asterisk, you are here, asterisk. The amulet pulses in your cloak, as if echoing her voice, and you know she meant you, that her prophecy was for this moment, this night. The path leads to a stone archway, its surface blackened, its carvings faint, but familiar hands reaching, eyes watching, stars falling. You step through, and the air changes, growing warmer, heavier, scented with ash and something sweeter, like honey left to rot. The chant swells, her voice clear now, telling you to find the heart of her story, to see what she saw, to finish what she began. You feel her, not just behind you, but within you, her prophecy of fire in your chest, urging you forward. The archway opens into a small courtyard, its ground covered in cracked tiles arranged in a spiral, their edges worn but deliberate. The center stands a stone pillar, its surface carved with symbols that glow faintly under the moonlight. You approach, your heart thudding slowly, and you touch the pillar, its stone warm, almost alive. The chant becomes a voice, her voice, speaking directly to you. Asterisk, you will see, asterisk. You close your eyes, and the vision returns. The oracle, standing here, her hands clutching the bronze disc, her eyes fixed on a future, where a stranger walks the village, where her truth is heard at last. You see the kingdom's fall, the fire, betrayal, and you see yourself, standing in this courtyard, your hands on the pillar, her prophecy complete. You pull your hand back, the vision fading, and the courtyard is silent, the moonlight dimming as clouds pass overhead. The amulet is warm in your cloak, her voice a whisper now, urging you to keep going, to find the place where her story ended, where her truth waits. You notice a path leading from the courtyard, its stones slick with frost, winding toward the edge of the village. You follow it, the chant fading but never gone, her presence a steady warmth, guiding you through the night, through the snow, through the secrets that bind you to her. The path from the courtyard winds through the village's edge, its stones slippery with frost, the snow falling thicker now, cloaking the world in a soft white hush. The oracle's whisper lingers, her prophecy asterisk, you will see asterisk await in your chest, a promise you're only beginning to understand. The houses here are sparser, their wooden frames sagging, their windows dark, but watching, as if the village itself is holding its breath. The air is cold, scented with pine, and the faint tang of ash, and you feel her, the oracle, not just in the amulet, but in the snow, the stones, the wind, her presence a thread that binds you to this place. The path leads to a wide, open space, its ground uneven, littered with broken tiles and scattered stones, and you realize this was once a festival ground, now silent, haunted by echoes of a night long past. You step forward, your boots crunching through the snow, and the whisper becomes a murmur, not hers alone, but many voices, soft and overlapping, rising from the ground like mist. They speak of laughter, music, the clatter of cards, the flicker of lanterns under a starlit sky. You close your eyes, letting the voices guide you, and you see it, the festival, alive with dancers, their robes swirling, their faces painted with ochre, their voices raised in song. The oracle stands at the center, her hands clutching a staff, her eyes fixed on the sky, her voice rising above the crowd, warning of a shadow that will come with the dawn. You see the crowd falter, their laughter fading, their eyes turning away, and you see the cloaked figure, the courtier, watching from the shadows, his hands hidden, his smile cold. The vision shifts, and you see the festivals end, the lanterns snuffed out, the dancers fleeing, the oracle alone as the sky darkens, her warnings swallowed by the wind. You open your eyes, and the festival ground is empty, the snow covering the tiles, the stones, the echoes of that night. The murmur is louder now, a chorus of regret, and you feel her presence, the oracle, not just in the air but in the ground. The snow, the silence. You walk forward, your cloak heavy with frost, and notice a low stone platform. Its surface cracked, but carved with symbols, hands, eyes, stars, always stars. You approach, your hand brushing the stone, and the murmur becomes her voice, soft but urgent, telling of a night when the kingdom fell, when her warnings became truth. When the festival ground went silent, you kneel, your fingers tracing the carvings, and the stone is warm, humming with her story. You see her again, standing here, her robes stained with ash, her hands trembling as she speaks to a crowd that no longer listens. You see the fire start, a spark in the distance, growing, consuming the temple, the village, the festival. You feel her sorrow, her defiance, as she stands alone, her voice rising above the flames, her prophecy unfinished, but not forgotten. You pull your hand back, the vision fading, and the platform is silent, the snow falling softly, cloaking the carvings. White. Voices are softer now, but they're still there, whispering of a kingdom that listened, then forgot, of a shadow that came when her words went unheard. You stand, your knees aching from the cold, and notice a path leading from the platform, stones half buried in snow, winding toward the village's heart. Follow it, the amulet warm in your cloak, her voice a whisper now, guiding you through the festival ground, through the snow, through the silence. The houses close in again, their windows dark, their beams creaking, and you feel her, the oracle, not just behind you but within you, her prophecy a fire that warms your bones. The path leads to a stone archway, its surface blackened, its carvings faint but familiar, and you know you're closer now, closer to her truth, closer to the heart of her story, as the night carries you forward, into the silence, into the secrets. Wait beyond, the stone archway looms before you, its blackened surface etched with symbols, hands, eyes, stars that seem to shimmer faintly in the moonlight, as if whispering secrets of the festival ground you left behind. You step through, your boots crunching on the snow-dusted path, and the air shifts, growing heavier, scented with ash and the faint sweetness of old incense. The oracle's presence lingers, her prophecy asterisk, you will see asterisk a warmth in your chest, the amulet in your cloak pulsing softly, its carved eye a reminder of her truth. Village closes in, its houses leaning closer, their dark windows watching, their beams creaking as if echoing the voices of the festival's lost night. The path narrows, leading you to a heavy wooden door, its surface scarred with burns, carved with symbols that match those you've seen everywhere. You push it open, and it groans, revealing a vast chamber, its walls soaring into shadow, its air thick with the weight of centuries. The chamber is grand, its floor inlaid with cracks, tiles arranged in a spiral, their patterns faint, but deliberate spirals, eyes, hands reaching upward. Torches line the walls, their flames flickering weakly, casting shadows that dance like figures in a forgotten council. You feel her, the oracle, not as a voice now, but as a gaze, watching from the darkness, her presence woven into the stones. The air, the silence. You step forward, your footsteps echoing softly, and notice a raised dais at the center, surrounded by stone benches, their surfaces worn smooth by hands long gone. Benches are empty, but you feel them shadows, not solid but real, the echoes of nobles who once sat here, their voices raised in debate, their decisions sealing the kingdom's fate. You approach the dais, your cloak brushing against the tiles, and the air grows colder, the scent of ash stronger, as if the chamber remembers a fire that burned long ago. You climb the steps, each one uneven, and stand at the center, where a stone table sits, its surface scarred, covered in offering scrolls, beads, a rusted scepter, all dusted with time. You touch the scepter. It's metal cold under your fingers. The shadows shift, growing sharper, their forms almost human. You hear them now, not the oracle but the nobles. Their voices a low murmur, arguing, accusing, dismissing her warnings. You close your eyes, and the chamber fades, replaced by a vision, the council, alive with torchlight, the nobles seated, their faces masked in silk, their hands gripping scrolls as the oracle stands before them, her voice sharp, pleading for them to listen. You see her clearly, her robes tattered, her eyes blazing with visions of a shadow that will come with the dawn. The nobles scoff, their laughter echoing, and you see the king, his crown heavy, his eyes avoiding hers as he waves her away. A cloaked figure, the courtier, stands at the edge, his smile cold, his hands hidden, and you feel her despair, her certainty, as the council turns its back. The vision shifts, and you see the temple burning, the nobles fleeing, the oracle alone, her voice rising above the flames, her warnings unheeded. You open your eyes, gasping, and the chamber returns, the scepter warm in your hand, the shadows watching, their murmurs fading into silence. You set the scepter down, your heart thudding slowly, and notice a small alcove behind the dais, its contents hidden in shadow. You reach inside, finding a clay tablet, its surface cracked but carved with symbols, hands, eyes, stars. You touch it, and the shadows murmur again, their voices clearer now, speaking of a kingdom that thrived, then fell, of a council that chose pride over truth. Feel her, the oracle, not just in the tablet, but in the air, her sorrow a weight that presses against you. You step back, the tablet heavy in your hands, and notice a doorway at the edge of the chamber, its frame carved with symbols that seem to pulse in the torchlight. You move toward it, the shadows following, their murmurs a chorus of regret, guiding you deeper into the temple, into her story. The doorway leads to a narrow corridor, its walls slick with moisture, its air cold and sharp. You walk, your boots scuffing against the stone, and the murmurs fade, replaced by a faint hum, her hum, weaving through the air like a thread. The corridor slopes downward, the symbols on the walls growing denser, their lines frantic, as if carved in haste. You feel her presence, not just behind you, but within you, her prophecy of fire that warms your bones, urging you to keep going, to find the heart of her truth. Corridor opens into a small chamber, its walls bare except for a single carving, a figure in white, her hands raised, her face hidden by shadow. The chamber is small, its air heavy with the scent of earth and old incense, the carving of the oracle glowing faintly in the dim light of a single torch. You step closer, your boots scuffing against the stone floor, and the hum from the corridor lingers, her hum, soft but insistent, urging you to touch, to see. The amulet in your cloak pulses, its carved eye warm against your skin, and you feel her, the oracle, not just in the carving, but in the air, the stone, the silence, her presence a plea that binds you to this place. You reach for the carving, your fingers brushing the stone, and it's warm, almost alive, humming with her story. The chamber fades, and you're in her world again, standing before a broken altar, its surface shattered, its edges blackened by fire. The oracle kneels before it, her hands trembling, clutching a bronze disc, her voice rising in a chant that feels like a goodbye. You see the temple around her, its walls crumbling, its torches snuffed out, the air thick with smoke and ash. She's alone, the crowd gone, the nobles fled. The king's betrayal a weight she carries as she speaks to the air, to the future. To you, her words are sharp, urgent, telling of a curse that binds her to this place, of a truth that must be found, of a stranger who will walk the village's paths and finish what she began. You see the fire closing in, her robes catching flame, her voice unbroken as she places the disc on the altar, her final act before the darkness takes her. You open your eyes, gasping, and the chamber returns, your hands still on the carving, the hum softening to a whisper. You step back, your cloak brushing against the floor, and notice the altar from your vision, here in the chamber. Its surface broken, its edges blackened, just as you saw. You approach, your heart thudding slowly, and see the bronze disc, its symbols glowing faintly, as if it remembers her touch. You reach for it, and the whisper becomes her voice, clear and mournful, telling you of her last moments, of the fire, the betrayal, the prophecy she left unfinished. You see flashes her hands placing the disc, her eyes blazing with visions, her voice rising above the flames, speaking of you. You touch the disc, and the vision returns, sharper now. The oracle, standing before the altar, her robes burning, her hands steady as she carves symbols into the stone hands, eyes, stars. You see the king, not in the temple, but in his tomb, his face pale, his hands trembling with guilt. And you see the courtier, his cloak dark, his smile cold, watching from the shadows as the fire consumes her. The vision fades, and you're back in the chamber, the disc warm in your hand, the altar silent, but heavy with her story. You feel her, the oracle, not just in the disc, but in the air, her plea of fire that warms your bones, urging you to carry her truth, to finish her prophecy. You set the disc down, your hands trembling, and notice a small alcove beside the altar, its contents hidden in shadow. Reach inside, finding a stone amulet, its surface carved with a single eye, like the one in your cloak. You hold it, and her voice returns, softer now, telling you to keep going, to find the place where her story ended, where her truth waits. You slip the amulet into your cloak, its weight comforting, and notice a doorway at the edge of the chamber, its frame carved with symbols that seem to pulse in the torchlight. You step toward it, the whisper guiding you, and push it open, revealing a narrow passage, its walls slick with moisture, its air cold and sharp. You walk, the hum returning, her presence a steady warmth, carrying you deeper into the temple, into the night, into the secrets that bind you to her. The passage beyond the broken altar is narrow, its walls slick with moisture, the air heavy with the scent of damp stone and faint incense, as if the temple itself is exhaling memories. Your boots scuff against the uneven floor, the sound swallowed by the darkness, and the amulet in your cloak pulses softly, its carved eye warm weight against your chest, echoing the oracle's presence. Symbols on the wall's hands, eyes, stars glow faintly, their lines worn but deliberate, as if guiding you deeper into her story. The whisper from the chamber lingers, her voice a soft thread weaving through the air, not speaking now but chanting, a melody that feels like a ritual long forgotten. You feel her, the oracle, not just behind you but within you, her sorrow a warmth that counters the chill, urging you to listen, to see. The passage twists, sloping downward, and the chant grows clearer, its rhythm slow and mournful, like a lullaby sung to a sleeping mountain. Notice alcoves carved into the walls, each one holding fragments of offerings, shattered clay, tattered cloth, a single feather stained with ash. You pause, your fingers brushing a piece of cloth, its texture brittle, and the chant swells, a voice forming words you can't grasp but feel, heavy with loss. You close your eyes, and you're no longer in the passage, but in a temple courtyard, its tiles gleaming under torchlight, priests moving in a slow dance, their robes swirling as they chant to the stars. The oracle stands at the center, her hands raised, a bronze disc clutched to her chest, her voice rising above the others, weaving a ritual meant to hold back the shadow she saw coming. The vision shifts, and you see the ritual falter, the priests pausing, their faces pale as the oracle's voice grows sharper, warning of a betrayal that will break the kingdom. You see the cloaked courtier, his smile cold, his hands hidden, watching from the shadows as the torches flicker out. The vision fades, and you're back in the passage, your hands still on the cloth, the chant softening to a whisper. You feel her despair, her defiance, as if the ritual's echoes are still here, trapped in the stone. You move on, the passage widening, the air growing colder, scented with frost and something sharper, like burned herbs. The symbols on the walls are denser now, their lines frantic, as if carved in the final moments of the temple's life. The passage opens into a small chamber, its walls lined with carving scenes of priests, their hands raised, their faces turned to a sky of falling stars. The center stands a low stone table, its surface covered in offerings, feathers, beads, a cracked clay cup, all dusted with time. You approach, your cloak brushing against the floor, and the chant returns, louder now, resonating in the stone, the air, your bones. You touch the cup, and the chamber fades, replaced by the oracle's ritual. Her voice clear, her hands steady as she places offerings on the table, her chant a plea to the mountain, to the stars, to anyone who will listen. You see the fire start, a spark in the distance, growing, consuming the temple, the priests scattering, the oracle alone. Her chant unbroken as the flames close in. You pull your hand back, gasping, and the chamber returns, the cup cold in your palm, the carvings watching like silent witnesses. Chant is softer now, but it's still there, her voice a thread that binds you to this place, to her. You notice a doorway at the edge of the chamber, its frame carved with symbols that seem to pulse in the dim light of a single torch. You step toward it, the offerings heavy in your mind, and push the door open, revealing a wider hall, its ceiling cracked, letting in slivers of moonlight. Chant follows you, echoing off the walls, and you feel her, the oracle, not just in the air, but in the stone, her ritual a memory that lingers, urging you to carry it forward, to hear what she heard, to see what she saw. You walk, your footsteps, going softly, and notice a stone altar at the hole's center, its surface scarred, its edges blackened by fire. You approach, your heart thudding slowly, and see a bronze disc, like the one you found, its symbols glowing faintly. You touch it, and the chant swells, her voice clear now, speaking of a ritual meant to save, meant to warn, meant to bind the kingdom to the truth. You feel her sorrow, her hope, as if the ritual is still alive, still waiting for you to finish it. Set the disc down, the hall silent, but heavy with her presence, and notice a staircase leading upward, its steps worn, its air cold and sharp, guiding you toward the night, toward her story, toward the truth that waits beyond. The staircase climbs steeply, its steps uneven, worn smooth by centuries of feet, the air growing thinner, scented with frost and the faint tang of ash. Your boots scuff against the stone, the sound swallowed by the darkness, and the amulet in your cloak pulses softly, its carved eye a warm reminder of the oracle's presence. The chant from the hall below lingers, her voice a soft echo, weaving through the air like a thread, guiding you upward. The walls are bare here, their carvings faded, but you feel her, not just in the stone, but in the silence, her ritual's echoes resonating in your bones, urging you to see, to understand. The staircase ends at a heavy wooden door, its surface scarred with burns, its symbols hands, eyes, stars glowing faintly in the moonlight that seeps through the cracks. You push the door open, and it groans, revealing a vast courtyard, its ground covered in snow, its edges marked by crumbling pillars that lean like trees after a storm. Moonlight bathes the scene, casting long shadows that dance across the tiles, and you realize this is where the kingdom fell, where the oracle's warnings became truth. The air is cold, biting at your cheeks, but her presence is a warmth, a fire that counters the chill, urging you forward. You step into the courtyard, your boots crunching through the snow, and the chant returns, not hers alone, but many voices, a chorus of regret rising from the ground, the pillars, the night itself. Close your eyes, letting the voices guide you, and you see it the kingdom's last night, alive with torchlight, the courtyard filled with people, their faces pale, their voices hushed. The oracle stands at the center, her robes burning, her hands clutching a staff as she speaks her final warning, her voice rising above the chaos. You see the king, his crown discarded, his hands trembling as he watches the fire spread, the temple crumbling, the crowd fleeing. Cloaked courtier is there, his smile gone, his eyes wide with fear as the shadow she foretold descends, not as a figure, but as a weight, a darkness that swallows the stars. The vision shifts, and you see the oracle alone, her chant unbroken, her hands placing a bronze disc on a shattered altar. As the flames close in, her prophecy unfinished, but not forgotten. You open your eyes, gasping, and the courtyard is silent, the snow falling softly, cloaking the pillars, the tiles, the echoes of that night. You move forward, your cloak heavy with frost, and notice a stone platform at the courtyard's center. Its surface cracked, its edges blackened, just as you saw in the vision. You approach, your heart thudding slowly, and see the bronze disc, its symbols glowing faintly, as if it remembers her touch. You touch it, and the voices swell, her voice clearest among them, telling of a night when the kingdom fell, when her warnings became truth, when the mountain wept. You see flashes, her hands carving symbols, her eyes blazing with visions, her voice rising above the flames, speaking of a stranger who would come, who would see, who would finish her story. You feel her, not just in the disc, but in the air, her presence a fire that warms your bones, urging you to carry her truth. You set the disc down, your hands trembling, and notice a small alcove beside the platform, its contents hidden in shadow. Reach inside, finding a stone amulet, its surface carved with a single eye, like the ones you've carried before. You hold it, and her voice returns, softer now, telling you to keep going, to find the place where her story ended, where her truth waits. You slip the amulet into your cloak, its weight comforting, Roger, and notice a path leading from the courtyard, its stones half buried in snow, winding toward the village's heart. You follow it, the voice is fading but never gone, her presence a steady warmth, guiding you through the night, through the snow, through the secrets that bind you to her. The snowy path winds gently from the courtyard, its stones slick beneath your boots, the frost crunching softly as you move through the village's silent heart. The amulet in your cloak pulses, its carved eye warm weight, tethering you to the oracle's presence, her voice a whisper weaving through the wind, urging you to see, to understand. The houses around you are dark, their windows like eyes, their beams creaking as if murmuring the kingdom's lost tale. The air is cold, scented with pine and ash, and the symbols from the courtyard hands, eyes, stars linger in your mind, their meaning clearer now, as if the mountain itself is unveiling her truth. The path leads to a low stone wall, its surface etched with carvings that glow faintly under the moonlight. And you feel her, the oracle, not just behind you, but within you, her story a fire that warms your bones. You step over the wall, your cloak brushing against the frost, and find yourself in a small plaza, its center marked by a shattered fountain, its basin cracked, filled with snow. The whisper becomes a voice, her voice, clear and mournful, speaking of a truth buried in the temple, in the village, in the night. You approach the fountain, your heart thudding slowly, and notice a stone tablet half buried in the snow, its surface carved with symbols, hands reaching, eyes watching, stars falling. You kneel, brushing the snow away, and the voice grows sharper, telling of a betrayal that cursed her, a king who turned away, a courtier who poisoned her words. You touch the tablet, and the plaza fades, replaced by a vision, the oracle, standing here, her robes tattered, her hands clutching a bronze disc as she speaks her final truth to a crowd that scatters, their faces pale with fear. You see the king, his crown heavy, his eyes hollow, watching from a distance as the temple burns, the oracle's voice rising above the flames, her truth unbroken. You see the courtier, his cloak dark, his smile cold, slipping through the shadows, his hands stained with poison. Vision shifts, and you see the oracle alone, her hands carving symbols into stone, her eyes blazing with visions of a stranger you who would come, who would see, who would unveil her truth. You open your eyes, gasping, and the plaza returns, the tablet warm under your fingers, the voice softening to a whisper. You feel her, the oracle, not just in the tablet, but in the air, the snow, the village. Her truth, a weight you carry, a promise you're meant to fulfill. You stand, tablet heavy in your hands, and notice a narrow path leading from the plaza. Its stones marked with footprints not yours, but hers, or someone's, leading deeper into the village. You follow, the snow falling softly, cloaking the world in white, and the voice returns, urging you to find the heart of her story, the place where her truth was buried. Path winds between houses, their eaves dripping with icicles, their walls carved with symbols that seem to pulse in the moonlight. You feel her presence, stronger now, as if she's walking beside you, her voice a chant that weaves through the air, telling of a kingdom that listened, then forgot, of a shadow that came when her warnings went unheard. The path ends at a stone archway, its surface blackened, its carvings faint but familiar, hands, eyes, stars. You step through, and the air changes, growing warmer, scented with incense and earth. The archway opens into a small chamber, its walls lined with carvings of the oracle, her hands raised, her face hidden by shadow. At the center stands a stone table, its surface covered in offerings, feathers, beads, a cracked clay cup, all glowing faintly, as if lit by her truth. You approach, your boots scuffing against the floor, and touch the cup, its crack rough under your fingers. The voice swells, her voice, telling you of the curse, the betrayal, the fire that bound her to this place, and of you, the stranger who would unveil her truth, who would set her free. You set the cup down, your hands trembling, and notice a small alcove behind the table, its contents hidden in shadow. Reach inside, finding a stone amulet, its surface carved with a single eye, like the ones you've carried before. You hold it, and her voice returns, clearer now, telling you to carry it, to finish her story, to lift the curse that binds her. You slip the amulet into your cloak, its weight comforting, and notice a doorway at the edge of the chamber, its frame carved with symbols that glow faintly, urging you forward, into the night, into her truth. The doorway leads to a narrow path, stone slick with frost, winding upward toward the mountain's peak, where the stars are just visible through the thinning mist. The snow falls softly, dusting your cloak, and the amulet pulses in your pocket, its carved eye a warm reminder of the oracle's presence, her truth now afire in your chest. The air is thin, sharp, scented with pine and the faint tang of ash. And you feel her, not just behind you, but within you, her voice a whisper guiding your steps. The village below is a shadow, its houses swallowed by the fog, their windows dark, but watching, as if the mountain itself is holding its breath. The path climbs steeply, its stones marked with symbols, hands, eyes, stars that glow faintly, as if the oracle's truth is lighting your way. You pause, your hand resting on a rock, its surface cold and etched with carvings, and the whisper becomes a chant, her chant, soft but urgent, rising from the ground, the air, the snow. You close your eyes, and you see her, the oracle, standing on this path, her robes whipping in the wind, her hands clutching a staff as she speaks to the stars, her voice a final plea to lift the curse that binds her. You see the kingdoms fall, the fire consuming the temple, the king's guilt, the courtier's betrayal, and you see yourself, walking this path, carrying her truth, her prophecy fulfilled. Vision fades, and you're back on the path, the chant softening, her presence a warmth that counters the cold. The path leads to a small clearing, its center marked by a stone altar, its surface cracked, but glowing faintly under the moonlight. You approach, your boots crunching through the snow, and see offerings, feathers, beads, a bronze disc, all dusted with frost, as if waiting for you. The chant swells, her voice clear now, urging you to finish the ritual, to free her spirit, to let her rest. You kneel, your cloak pooling around you, and place the amulet on the altar, its carved eye glowing brighter, as if it sees you, sees her. You arrange the feathers in a circle, their tips soft and stained with ash, and the air shifts, growing warmer, scented with incense and earth. You touch the bronze disc, its symbols warm under your fingers, and you speak, Not words you know, but words she gives you, a chant that feels like a promise, a prayer, a release. The wind picks up, swelling the snow around you, and the chant becomes a chorus, her voice joined by others, the voices of the kingdom, the priests, the nobles, all singing of redemption. The altar hums, its stone vibrating, and you feel a shift, a release, as if the curse is unraveling, thread by thread. You raise your hands, mirroring her in the vision, and the moonlight grows brighter, the stars pulsing in time, the air thick with the scent of freedom. Chant reaches a peak, then softens, and you feel her, the oracle, not as a weight, but as a lightness, her spirit lifting, her truth unveiled, her curse undone. You lower your hands, the altar quiet now, the offerings glowing faintly, and you know she's free, her story complete, her rest earned. You stand, your knees aching from the cold, and the snow falls softly, cloaking the clearing in white. The stars above are clear now, the mist gone, and you feel her one last time, not as a voice, but as a warmth, a thank you, a goodbye. You turn, the path leading back to the village, its houses silent, its secrets at rest. You walk, the amulet, light in your cloak, her presence fading but never gone, her truth a part of you, carrying you into the dawn, into the quiet, into the peace that waits beyond. The snow settles around you, soft and silent, as the dawn begins to break, its light creeping over the mountain's edge, painting the sky in hues of gold and grey. Your breath slows, each inhale deep, each exhale a gentle release, matching the rhythm of the wind, the pulse of the earth. The village below is quiet now, its houses still, their windows no longer watching, their beams at rest, the oracles. Warmth lingers in your chest, a fading ember, her story complete, her spirit free. You sit, your cloak heavy with frost, and let the mountain's silence wrap around you, its weight comforting, like a blanket woven from the night. The stars fade, giving way to the dawn, and you imagine a meadow, soft and green, where the wind whispers only of peace, where the air smells of dew and wild flowers, where sleep waits like an old friend. Your eyes grow heavy, your body soft, and the world blurs, the mountain, the village, the dawn all blending into a gentle haze, carrying toward rest, toward dreams, toward quiet.